Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer.
And, it's wonderful to be a worldwide celebrity, to have customers all over the world. It's very exciting.
Hmm.
But I got to tell you that it can be as much fun and even maybe more because it's more personal and just as profitable to do business in your own backyard.
I'm gonna 1,000% agree with that. I would say this is where I may or may not made a mistake in my own business. I went global and I had clients in Europe and Africa and like all over, but I did not focus on my own backyard. And I think that was a misstep in the essence that I could have combined more activities and not just be completely online and be both offline and online.
Absolutely. When I started my business, now, of course, I'm going to go back. This was 2002. And so there were not as many opportunities to build global businesses.
Yeah.
But I had come into it with relationships because I'd been a national brand manager, national marketing manager. I had relationships all over the country. And so I had clients everywhere. But as I was trying to really build out the business, I was doing a lot of networking and I realized there was a lot of opportunity right in my backyard.
And see, I started local in 2006 with the Yellow Pages. And so I knew lots of people in local and I knew all these relationships. But for some reason, when, online really started going, I was like, oh, I got to go worldwide. And I mean, I built a heck of an online community and now it plays really well being offline. So maybe it was, right time, right strategy. But now I'm more focused on my local community.
I have really enjoyed. I enjoy going into a networking event, seeing a bunch of people I like, seeing
Yeah.
former clients, having someone come up to me say, "Oh my God, I still use this or that you did for us."
Yeah.
And it makes it so much easier when you're really trying to find new leads. If you can put people who are doing business with you in a room with people you want to do business with and let them talk to each other.
Yes, absolutely. I think the only thing you have to be afraid of there is if you don't have a good business, you
Okay,
know?
here's the thing. If you're crappy at what you do, all bets are off. None of our advice is going to work.
No. But it will especially exaggerate if you are around a bunch of people and you do a bunch of mess ups, then that's really going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So you got to really know what you're doing. And, you talk about like networking, and that's just one way to concentrate locally. And it's a great way, but I think there's many others as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think in a lot of the lessons you learned from your international business, you can apply to creating a local presence online as well.
Yeah, yeah. You can't just drop the Yellow Pages anymore. So that's not there anymore. So I kind of have my list. There's definitely ways to optimize for local or nearby type searches, and it's the good old Google My Business profile, and getting those reviews and a little bit of schema markup and have you, but local SEO, that's the first step for me.
Any business, any business that your customers are going to go to Google and type in the following phrases: business type near me.
Yeah.
Whether you're a restaurant or a dentist or a marketing company or a web design firm,
Yeah.
if customers are using the phrase near me, you need to tell Google and you need to tell customers that you are near them.
Yes. And that's the Google My Business profile. Now, we're not going to go into all the things to optimize that profile, but there's quite a bit. And you need to kind of own that space. that's just one for me of many listings. Yes, listings are still a very good thing, and there are directory listings out there. So, I'm talking about Yelp or even white pages online, like that still exists, but there's also niche listings where those are only particular to your industry, and you need to go out and claim all those as well.
Absolutely. And there are some services, and I don't want to go into them here, where you can put in your company name and it'll tell you all the places you're listed online. And
Yeah.
this is a pain in the ass. There's no nice way to put it. You need to go listing by listing by listing, because many of those lists are done by scraping information. And they're not created because somebody called you up and said, hey. And if you move, if you change your phone number, if you
Yeah.
change your business description, you're going to find that some or all of those listings are inaccurate. And there is no one to blame but you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agreed. For me, creating localized content, and this is more challenging for some people than other. So, what I mean by that is the easiest one, in my opinion, is to create case studies based on you helped a Greenwood client or a Franklin client, and they're based in that area, and you tell the story of them, but you're dropping in the word.
Mm-hmm.
Other things I've seen is maybe for your business, like we did a water company one time, and there are specific water table things that are in different areas. And so we were able to create that localized content
Mm-hmm.
for those specific areas.
I'll give you some examples of companies that I think approach it a little bit differently, but still focused on that local. They want to establish themselves as a local authority. There was a hotel, a private hotel down in Houston. And what they did is they had pages and pages and pages on their website of things to do in Houston.
There you go.
And so everything on that page was about Houston. I worked with a real estate agent, and she served 5 communities, and she had a section on her website for each community that she wanted to serve that talked about school districts,
Yep.
shopping, all the things in that area. I'll give you one more because I think there's lots of creative ways to do this. At
Yeah.
Round Peg, we used to do articles like 5 things, not 5 things to do this summer, but hey, we interviewed our staff, and these are the things we're looking forward to for summer in Indianapolis. And so we talked about events and concerts, and it was a way to introduce people to us, to give them a warm feeling about us as people, but
Yeah.
also to plant that flag that we were in Indianapolis.
Yep, yep. We did that with the limo company, the events that are local to the area, because obviously people would need a limo, for those events. So yeah, that one makes sense for me too. Um, Engage in nearby social media communities. So, there are some groups online that there's definitely the neighborhood groups, but you got to be careful there. You can't just be splashing your business, but there are some like, niche type um, and then leveraging like local advocates, so people that they're in the area that are also online,
Mhm.
like aligning yourselves with them is a great idea.
So my neighborhood, there are 400 homes. It's not a huge neighborhood, but the homes are all about the same age. They were built like in a 10-year span. They're all 50 to 60 years old.
Hmm.
The families, again, they're at a certain income level. Now, you can't join our Facebook group if you don't live in the neighborhood. But if you live in the neighborhood and you have a home painting business,
Perfect.
we have a neighborhood newsletter. It's $150 a year. Put an ad.
Yeah.
We have a pediatrician who's got a pediatric practice across the street.
Yeah.
So look at your own neighborhood. Look at how your neighbors are getting information and figure out, can you be a part of those conversations?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I have like a ton on, this article that I wrote on this. But I do want to mention one that somebody might not think that I would mention. Direct mail.
Mm-hmm.
It is one of those ways to get personalized mailings in a specific neighborhood, in a specific area. And look, it's different. Like everybody talks about online and being online, and I'm still a believer in print advertising. I still think there's local magazines and local things that are good for you. I'm not 100% online.
No, and especially right now, a lot of these local publications and local tools, they're struggling a little bit to get more advertisers. So there are some great deals to be had. Jen, I'm going to suggest that you put a link to that whole article in the show notes. I think people will really enjoy reading the rest of your suggestions.
Yeah, I got a lot.
That's okay. That's okay. But we're going to put a pin in it here. And if you have questions about this topic, reach out. Let's have a conversation. If you're in the professional services business, if you're a solopreneur or startup, definitely reach out, give me a buzz. But if you're a little bigger, more established company, Jen, who do you want to talk to?
Yes, yes, definitely. I like service industry too, but definitely more established. I really like event type marketing, healthcare marketing. We do very well with healthcare marketing. Travel industry. Those are some of our favorite that we really like to work with. So,
Awesome. Well, that's it for this week. Be sure to come on back next week.
all right, take
Take
care.
care. See you around the neighborhood.